So today's version, what we're going to be doing today is trying to replicate this particular hand of what's it called again? Of creation of Adam. So there's this particular artwork. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Hand Creation of Adam. Although I didn't really know that was the name when I started looking for it. I think I started with hands touching sculpture or something. I started with by searching hands touching sculpture, but then the actual name I got to find out that the name is actually called Creation of Adam. So it's a particular particular artwork by what's his name again? Michelangelo's work. It's like a painting in Sistine Chapel. So I thought I could do something like really nice with the whole with the whole hand thing. And I thought, okay, you know what, let me just try to do something in Spline. So typically my work started from trying to like find a 3D asset, because currently I don't do 3D modeling. I don't do any sort of 3D modeling. So I try to like find already existing assets and I try to use that in my design. 1 second, let me see if I can. I don't want this window popping up. Picture. Okay, cool. Yep. So I try to like find the already existing assets and I try to like use them. I think it's a faster way to iterate, and I also think it's an easier way for you to get into actual 3D modeling, because sometimes when you actually like start using all these try to like start using other people's work, you just have some kind of motivation to start doing your own. So it's a way it's a way for you to ease yourself into like the whole world of 3D modeling and all of that. But for now, like I said, I use already existing 3D assets. So where I go to find 3D assets, typically I go on Sketchfab. So I'm going to post it and paste it in the in the chat again, so you can find it there and visit by yourself your spare time. So sketchfab.com, I think that's the site. So let me paste it in chat so you can use it for whatever you want to do. So it's not only this, you don't have to like find only this particular thing I'm using here. That you can actually find anything, any kind of 3D asset you're looking for, if it's a car or anything. In one of my previous video I already shared how to find downloadable ones. So it's just for you to just come here and search for whatever you're looking for. So I think I'm looking for creation of Adam. Okay, yep. So once you search for it, you see I already have like results from it. So although I have results that are not related to it, but then I know what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for this particular one that has like these hands and thing. And also you want to also look for the one that has like an icon here, that has like the downloadable icon here, because some of them don't have icons. So for example, this one doesn't have an icon there. So basically this one, all it does is just for you to view it. You can only view it on this site because the person that posted it did not post it and like make it available for download. So you can only view the 3D assets on this particular site. However, for the ones that have like these icons, that have like a dollar icon, you can download them, but then they are like paid for, so you can see pay add to cart. But these ones that just have like this icon here, they are free for download, so you can just click on them and then download them. Although I think the one I really wanted was this one, because like it was really hyper realistic and I liked like the style, the full nature of the hands. But I mean, you can't. I tried to find the 3D model, I could not, so I couldn't get it. So however, I went with this one. I went with this particular one. So this one, when I downloaded it, I could typically just download this one here and just use it in my design. However, I tried downloading, like I said, in Spline, when you're trying to import like a 3D object into Spline, you can import, I think, GLTF. Yeah, GLTF. Let's see again. Let's go to Spline. So if you want to import into Spline, oh boy, please don't do this to me today again. Okay, so if you want to import something, import the 3D asset into Spline, just go here, import here, and then you see like the different options it's giving you. So you have a part that says 3D assets, and then under the 3D model it's written GLTF, STL, FBX, and OBJ. These are all 3D file formats that you can import into Spline. There are more than this, but then these are the ones that Spline supports. So when you're trying to download from this particular sites, from Sketchfab, to using inside of Spline specifically, try to look for the ones that Spline supports, which is GLTF, STL, FBX, and OBJ. So currently the one that's on the list here is GLTF, so I can download this GLTF. However, GLTF sometimes has some kind of issues, because for some reason it will tell you just give one funny looking error. So what I had to do for this particular one, I had to go and download as a Blender file, and then from Blender I had to export because Blender is like a more robust 3D tool. I had to download it as a Blender file and then export and make into what do you call it, make into like a sketch file. So I don't want you to go through all of that, which is why I already like made this asset available for free download. So you can just press Ctrl C for free Spline download. If you still want the actual one to use inside of Blender, you can go on Sketchfab. But then the one to use on Spline that works, that's supported by Spline, I have the link here, so I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it now. So just open it's a Google Drive link. So just open the Google Drive link, and then you find this asset inside. So just click on it like this. Let's see. Click on it, and then you can just download and use. It's a really small file. I think it's not up to 20 MB or so. It should not be up to 20 MB. So just press download, and that's all. So once you've downloaded it, it's a .spline file. So you can see creation of Adam .spline. You can now import inside of Spline. So go to Spline, go to imports, and then import a spline.scene file. Don't go to FBX or 3D model in this case. Go to a Spline file. So you just press here, and then you can go to here. You can see it's creation of Adam. It doesn't have any preview mode, but then just open it. So let's see what it shows us. Let's see, just give 1 second to load up. So basically, once you import the creation of Adam's file into your Spline, this is what you get. You get like this really small looking hand. So like I said, if you've been using Spline for a while now, or any 3D software at all, you should be able to know that, okay, clicking on the center button in your mouse, not trackpad on your mouse, external mouse, is how you can navigate, like orbit around your your object. So you should click down on your center button, and then hold command, so you can turn around your file. So yeah, that's the way you can navigate around and try to like just put it into a particular frame. So I think what we're going to be doing, because for me I had to like look at the actual artwork. 1 second. I had to look at the actual artwork and compare which hand goes where, because both of the hands look pretty similar, but then there's just a particular feeling about using the one that's actually in the artwork. So I had to like compare and contrast. So let's see that one again. Creation of Adam. So I think the hand that's a little bent is the human's hand, and it's the one that's supposed to come out from the left hand side, and then the other hand, which is with the other finger, which is actually straighter, is the hand of God, I guess. So it's supposed to be so I think it's properly set up like this. So just rotate it into view. And also, what I want to do, I want to first of all reset my camera and see the scale in comparison with the actual camera, because personally I don't like zooming in and all of that. It's going to be stressful to do all of this. So personally I like sizing my objects inside of my scene in relation to the in relation to the default camera. So what you can do is just to go to this reset, and you can see it's small. So what you want to do is like increase the size. To increase the size, just go to click on it, and then go to scale. So on the scale section, enter, by default it's always 1. By default, any object that imports in Spline is always 1. So what you want to do is to like increase it to like, let's do something like, let's do 5, I guess. Do 5 for the X, 5 for the Y, 5 for the Z. And also to like click to turn it around, you can click on this on these control buttons. So let me orbit around it so you can see them more clearly. So this one here, I want to orbit around, turn this one around a bit. Also reset your camera again, so you can actually have a feel for how it's going to look on your default camera. So turn it around a bit. So like I said, the crooked hand is supposed to come from the left, so I'm going to turn it the other way. Yeah, the crooked hand is supposed to come from the left, and then the straighter one is supposed to come from the right. So that's what you're going to do first. Turn it like this to look like this. I think this is fine. So but if you want to like the particular value I'm using, so I turn the y-axis, by 105. Let's do 106, I guess. Oop. Do 105, I did. Okay, it's fine, 105. So 105, and then you can now move. But to move it, you can click on this this other external pointers. Click on them and drag them. So to move to the left, I just click on them and drag them sideways. So place it in a convenient area. And I think I also want to increase the size as well. Against 5 is still, a scale of 5 is still too small, so I want to increase the size. So let's do 10. Let's do 10 for the scale. 10. It still looks too small in comparison to the camera. So let me do 20 and see. Let me just go up to 20. Okay, because I actually want it like really really large, like smack right in the middle of the camera. So let me just move it to the middle here. So I think this is fine. I think this is fine. Let me preview and see how it looks. So I think this is fine. This should work. This should work. So let me see, open that one side by side in case like we actually miss stuff. I think someone's trying to get into the meeting. Okay. So right done. Okay, cool. So I think this is fine. 20, scale of 20 is fine. However, is it fine? I think it's fine. Or let's do 25, just for extra measure. 25, scale of 25, scale of 25. So it's up to you, really. It's really up to you to decide what you want to do with what you call the sizing, whatever size looks best to you. But one thing you should try to do is to avoid zooming in and zooming in. Try to just make it as large enough to just large enough on the default camera, so I don't have to be zooming in to go and like get extra detail. Just try to make it large enough for this. So like, once you reset it, you just go back to this like the default view, and it should look good in the camera, in the eyes of the camera. So that's, once that this is done, I can now move it to the center, drag it around to the center like this. And I also want to frame it, because like this there's no frame. So personally I like going, like I've said time after time, I prefer going for that what's it called, for the 1920 by 1080, which is the 16 by 9 aspect ratio frame. It just looks good. It just looks good for some reason. 16 by 9 aspect ratio looks good on widescreen. So you want to press edit frame, and then you want to set from response. By default it's responsiveness. You want to set it to what's it called, set it to full HD. So full HD. So once you do full HD, you cannot press exit frame. So you can now see that there's like this. Let me change the background to white so you can still see properly, in case you're not familiar with it. So you can see that every other place outside of this rectangle here, it's just like it's darker than this center. So everything you want to do inside of design should be centralized inside of this frame here. So that's what we're trying to do. This is what I mean by try to frame your design. You can use different kind of frames. You can use like what's it called, a custom frame, or you can use a square frame or whatever. But me personally, I prefer going for this one. And another thing I want to do is to change the background to black. If I change the background to black now, you probably not be seeing the frame again, because everything will just be dark. But let's just do it. So should we do it first? No, let's not do it first. So another thing I noticed is that after I framed my design, all of a sudden it looks too small in comparison to the frame. Because if you check this one, let's go back. For some reason it's not working. Okay, cool. Oh boy, why is Spline acting silly today? Okay. Oh boy, you're currently deciding. Okay. So give me 1 second. I don't know. Spline is acting up. I can't seem to access my design again. I need to sign out and sign in. So give me 1 moment. Oof. Just give me 1 moment. I'll join back. Stop sharing my screen. Join back so I can sign in. So here we go. Five, 1, 6, 9. Okay, yeah, sorry, I had to sign in again for let me open my file. So let's continue from where we stopped. So as I was saying, let's see what we have here. Oh, you know what, let's just even give up. Let's just use that. Let's just continue with the one we're creating. For some reason I can't. So let's just increase the size of this one, because I want it to like I want the hands to actually go off screen. I don't want to be seeing all these parts that are chopped off. So I want to still scale it up even more. Let's do 50. Let's just jump like a big number to, let's say 50. 50 is not looking good. 50, because I want the hands to go off the camera. So yeah, I think this 50 kind of looks okay. Because the hands are so big that they're even going off screen. So let's go with this. Let's go 50 for now. Another thing I want to do now is to start what's it called, to start adjusting the maybe angle or something, because personally I feel like this is the hand of God is should be coming from like from heaven. So heaven is probably this top, the top right here, and then let me not say hell, but earth is probably come from this other side. So I want them to like come from the what's it called, from diagonal to meet, to come out diagonally and then actually meet at the in the middle of the screen. So one thing what I want to do is to rotate. Okay, zoom. I can zoom out now, and then I want to rotate the hands so they are kind of like on an angle. I have not. You can see that by default, the controls are like in the on the edges. I've not made like I've not actually made. I've not. If I want to reset the controls now, because ideally the controls are actually best when they're in the middle of the middle of your object. So what you want to do is to first of all group this. Do you want to group this? I think I should have even exported everything. I should have. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can go back to square one. Just quickly see if I can go back to one. Okay. So square one basically means I'm just resetting this stuff to the scale of one again. Scale of one. So that's what I want to do. And then I want to remove, because the group like has issues, so I want to like remove the actual what's it called, the hands from, it's currently in a group, but I want to remove from the group. So I want to navigate down from the layers. There's this layer, it has this layer there, what's it called, technique. So you want to navigate down to the one that says, okay, that says GLTF, yeah, GLTF scene. So I want to navigate down and then just drag it out of the group, and then I want to rename it. Control arrow. I want to click on it to click on name and name it like hands. Okay, and then I cannot delete this empty group. So I cannot delete empty group. I now have this group that's called hands only, just called hands. So like I said, in the layers on the layer section, navigate down from it, the file when it comes by default, it comes with untitled. So you want to open the layers, open the layer, and navigate from the one that has roots, open the roots, and then remove that what's it called, the one that's written I think it's called, what's what it's called, okay, GLTF scene, blah 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 blah. So just remove it out of the group, and then you can now delete that other empty group and call this other group hands. It's a more simplistic approach. So these hands now you want to scale it up to, let's do, how many were we doing before? We're doing let's do 50. I don't think we'd ever need to do 50 for this one. We don't need to do 50 for this one. So like let's do 25. If scale of 25 still looks even too big. Not 25 and 25 here as well. Okay, cool. So like this, with this done, you want to now group it. Press Ctrl G. Just what it does, it creates a group, because like this now the controls are already like messed up. The controls are messed up, and I don't like dealing with like messed up controls like this, except you're actually a pro. So I like actually grouping my elements, so I can now, so the controls can be resetted, and I can now start making adjustments on this new control as well. So once I've pressed Ctrl G to group it, the controls are now resetted to like global. So you can now turn it around, turn it to the side. Okay, cool. And then I want to do my framing again, because frame I resetted everything, so I need to do frame again. Edit frame, call it change for responsive to 1920 full HD, and yeah, that's basically your exit frame. So that's basically all. So you can see like this, I have it inside my frame, and inside of my frame it looks really small, so I can still blow it up a bit. Go into the hands group, the one that has a hands group that I adjusted before, change it from 25 to, let's do 30 and 30 for this. Okay, cool. So I think it looks cool. So this group 2 now, this new group I've created, I want to just move the controls to the middle like this, and then I want to rotate it, or let me rotate the one that's inside, because I don't want like trouble later on. Rotate inside. Nah, it's not really working fine. So let me rotate the group instead, the group that are inside of instead. So rotate the group like this, to have the hands like coming from the diagonal sections of the screen. And also I think I still want to increase that, because this all these chopped edges are still showing, so I want to actually blow up the size, the scale rather. So it's currently 30 in scale. We need to take it up to like, let's say 40, I guess. 40. Okay, cool. So 40 looks big enough. That's the chopped edges are going off screen. So I think let's work with this. Let's work with 40. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's play and see how it looks. So in played mode, we might need to still make adjustments. So 40 looks too big. 35, 35, 35. Cool. It should work. So centralize it. Like, you don't have to, like, there's no rule to centralize it. Just centralize it as best as you can, or to what looks good to you. And again, like I said, when I compared the actual image, the crooked hand is the hand of the human being, and then this other hand, the straighter finger, is actually the finger of God. So I think this one is straighter finger. I think it's like reversed. So I want to turn it around. I want to turn it the other way around. I mean, so just click on the control and turn it around like this. And so this is like the hand of a human, and this is the hand of God, or something like that. So you can now move around and also rotate a bit to have them like coming out from the diagonal edges of the screen. So once you have this hand set up like this, I also want to go inside of the group now, select this hand, and also move it individually to the bottom, and then turn it around a bit. Okay, group it to reset the control, because the controls are off screen, and I cannot be going out off screen to go and change the control. So I'm to just group it to bring the controls to the middle, and then turn it around a bit. Okay, not like that, like this. Yeah, this is much better. Also move this one, like I'm adjusting the hands individually, so just move them to a position where they look okay, so this works, and I think this is fine. However, okay, this is fine. So what we want to do now is to start adding materials, because by default it comes like with this skin like material, this skin like texture or material, or whatever you want to call it. So I want to start adjusting that, actually making it to look like my own version of what I want to do. So let me show you. So you can see this one like has this kind of glassy, kind of dark glassy look. So I can't seem to show it, but I hope you can see it. Well, it's not working for some reason. So let's just create our one from scratch. So what you want to do is to click on the entire group, or go into the groups and select the hands individually and start adjusting the material. So once you click on one of the hands, you can probably call this one, rename the group to call it left hand. All this renaming and is just for the sake of order and simplicity. So call this other one right hand. Rename right hand. Okay, cool. So once you've done that, select the right hand, apply a material. By default it has a material applied already, so you can just click on the material and start making changes to this one, or you can just delete. I think you can delete it. Just start making changes to this one. So what you want to do first is to first of all, let's turn off the color. Let's change the color here. So let's something like white. So when I change the color to white, you can see that the fingers actually have like the fingernails have like a separate color. So you want to go inside of the group and select the colors, these materials themselves that's acting up, and apply the material that's on this main hand to the fingers as well, because for some reason the fingers are on a separate layer. So you want to apply the material that's on the hand to the fingernails as well. So select the right hand group. You see there's one that's named object 8. If I had known, I would have probably renamed all these things properly, so that you don't have to deal with all these messy names, but that's okay. Let's go ahead with this. So first thing I want to do is select the right hand first. Create a material. I don't know if you know how to create styles in Figma. So if you want to create styles in Figma, you want to bring that same knowledge into Spline by creating a material here, a material style here. Okay, to create that, press this button that's beside the material. Press the button, and then you see plus here. So press plus. Why is it not working? Was it added already? Okay, you know what? Let's create our own material from scratch. Okay, press plus. Okay, press plus to remove that old material, default material, and actually create your own material. So let's change this new material to, let's say, blue, just so we can see it, and then press this button beside the material name, and then press plus now. So you can see that the name has been added as untitled material. So let's call it something. Let's call it glass. Let's just call it glass. Okay, so let's call it glass. Cool. So once you've done that, you want to go into the group. So once you go into the group, so you can see that the material has been applied, and select the the fingernails by default is already glass, everything, so everything is glass already. You also want to also apply the glass, or before we apply the glass to this one, let's start by tweaking the material to look as we want it to look before we start applying to this one as well, because once you have it done perfectly for one, you don't need to like sweat the details on doing the other one as well. So just let's just do the material for this one. So you want to select the material that you've called glass. You want to start editing it. So the first thing you want to do is to first of all turn off the color layer. To turn on the color layer, you have lighting, only lighting. So you want to add, first of all, add glass. So to add glass, click on the plus button to add a new material. By default it adds color, so you want to click on the drop down that's beside the color name, and then go and select what's it called, glass. So you say by default glass doesn't show anything, but if something was behind it, you probably see the glass effect. But by default glass is transparent. But if something was behind you probably see the glassy kind of effect, but currently you can't see anything because there's nothing but void behind the hand. So you want to add glass first, and then you want to go ahead and add another material again and change it to from color to matte cap instead. So matte cap is just like a reflection of any element you add into it. So if you were here like a week ago or so, I showed how I was able to get like this iridescent stuff, this iridescent matte cap group or something like that. So let me see if I can find it again so I can post it in the chat. So iridescent again, save cam. So let me copy it and paste it in chat, so in case you were not here last week, so you can get it as well. So just open the link and then press 0 here, and then press I want this, and it will be sent to your email. So let me paste in the chat. So it's in the chat in case you want to download the matte cap here, so you are not confused. So add matte cap, and then to change the matte, because by default it has like this funky, this green looking matte cap, something. That's not what you want. You want your own personal matte cap to it. So you want to go and select it, click on this what's it called, on the matte cap thumbnail here, and then go and press upload image. And then I'm going to navigate and try to find my what do you call it, that my matte cap layer. Although I've had a couple of files in there, so it's going to take small time for me to find. So give me 1 second while I find it. You know what? Okay. 1 moment while I find it. PC so full. Stuff, project, stuff. Oh boy. I should probably keep this in a more easy to find place, because now I have to dig through my files just to find that particular matte cap layer. But it should be my documents. Documents. Shift up, OBS capture, OBS code, OBS Figma, that texture. Nope, it's not there. Oh boy. Let me see if I can send my PC. Matte cap. Okay. How can I navigate how can I see the path? Okay, I have found the file, but I can't seem to find the path to get to this place. So decent. That's crazy. Okay, I think it's here. Stuff. Okay. Yeah, stuff. Under already saying okay. Yeah, I think I found the place. So documents, desktop rather. On that stuff. Yeah, so I found it. So you want to open the matte cap, the matte cap group, once you've unzipped it, and then select from one of many of these ones that you have. So I think the one I went for, I don't remember the one I went for, but let's just pick any one. I think I went on that diamond, and then I went for, let's say, this one, I guess. So we might have a different look for this tutorial, but that's totally fine. So let's just go with this. So select any of them. You have different looks for all of them you are going to be selecting. So just select any one and select the one that looks good enough for you. Let me see if I can still find that particular one that had that dark effect. Let me see if I can find a particular one that had that dark effect. Or if I can't, let's just use anyone that looks good. So let's just use this one. You can play with the rest just to have like different effects for your own. And also another thing I want to do is to now change the blending mode, the blending style. So by default it just has this, what's it called, this look. So to change the blending style, what you just do is you just come to this section here that has this option. So click on this option and then you can see multiply, screen, blah blah blah. So try multiply and see how it looks, try screen and see how it looks, and then try overlay. So I think one thing we're also missing in our design is we don't make the background black. So let's make the background totally black. So click on the background and then change it from whatever color it is to 0 times. So yeah, oh boy, now that is like really dark. So let's click on the option, the hand again, and then start editing our mask layer. So change from overlay to normal, I guess. So multiply, and so let's just leave it at what's it called, at the screen, because I think screen looks cool. And let's leave it at screen. And then another thing I want to do now is to now change the background. Let's add the background color to it. Let's add the color to it. So add the color layer to it. So this color layer, we're going to make it black. So change to black, total black. And then you want to change the blending mode, the blending style to multiply. Try multiply, try screen, and then try overlay. They don't really do much, but I think it really does better when you actually like add the color to it. You can see how the color brings out the highlights of it. Like, just has like this fun looking effect. So let's do something like, let's go for this blue, because blue always, for some reason, always looks really cool with the thing, or purple. So let's go for purple, and then let's work with this. So what purple does really, it just adds the highlight for you. Another thing you want to also add, another thing that looks good when you add it, is Fresnel. So you want to add a Fresnel as well. So click on this plus again, add what's it called, Fresnel. So Fresnel like just adds, let me call it rim lighting. It just adds like a rim lighting to your object. So you can now change the blending mode to, let's say, multiply. Let's do screen. So you never really know what you can achieve with all these blending modes. It's just for you to just keep trying them and see what looks best for you. So you can also change the color as well, the color of the lighting from white. By default it's white. You can change to something more fun and vibrant. So let's say, let's do blue, or let's do red. So we can add like a color, a more poppy color to it. So yeah, let's do this. And then I think with this now we can actually just go ahead, and now we want to apply the style to this other hand. So to apply the style to this other hand, it's just very easy. Since we've actually set up this material, like I said, local style, we've already made this local style, made all the edits to our glass local style. So you can see glass is what I've been doing everything on inside of. So you can just click on this other hand and then change it from whatever material it is, default material, to click on this object here, this option here, cancel. So to change this to this local style, click on this option, this icon beside the material name, click on it, and then you see your material there, my assets, under my assets. So just select it, and boom, you have your style applied already. The same thing, you have the same thing applied to this other, and I didn't have to make any edits. I didn't have to. So anything if you want to click on this group now, click on this group. Let's just call it let's rename the group to something like two hands. So if you were to click on the group now and just come to this glass now and make any edits, let's say, okay, we turned off, let's say you turn off glass, or we turn off mask cap. Let's turn off mask cap, so to actually have like a more visible effect. Turn off mask cap. So you can see that by addressing that, by making change on one style only, I have what's it called, I have both elements taking that same attribute. So that's what you really want to do. You want to make your work easier. If you do the same thing, if you are familiar with using styles on Figma, it's going to be very easy for you. Styles or variables, it's going to be very easy for you. So that's just that about style. So I think if only I could open my other file, probably get that particular material, particular mask cap layer I used for my design, so we could actually like have exactly the same thing. But I can't seem to be able to access that file now. So like I said, go ahead and play with what's it called, different mask cap options. Try another mask cap option. Okay, by what you just go to mask cap layer here, click on it, and then you have an image, click on it, and then select one of all these many mask cap stuff we have. So let me select the number one, so you have a different effect as well. So just try anyone and see what comes out best for you. So let's just do this one and carry on with it. So once you have this particular thing done, you want to now go and start creating like the animation, because currently once you press view, you see they're just static. So what you want to do now is actually you want to make them I want to make the hands turn around. So I can't really show it again, but I want to make the hands like animate when they come into view. So to do that, first I want to make my background white so I can actually see what I'm doing. I'll just make it like a lighter gray. I guess any color is fine really. So we can actually see like the borders that we're working with. So you can see that when I change to white, you can see that you can start seeing this 1920 by 1080 border that I added before. Before, when it was black, you're not seeing it. You're just seeing like everything was just black. But now I've lightened the color, you can actually see that okay, there's actually like a border here. And if I were to preview it, only what is inside of this what's it called, white space will be showing. Every other thing outside will not be showing. So that's what you want. You want to frame your image properly before you start creating prototypes for it. So once you have this set up like this, the next thing you want to do is to now go into prototyping mode. Let me call it prototyping mode, yeah. So what you want to do first of all is to add an event. So add an event, call it by default it starts. That's the trigger. So the trigger is always starts by default, and actually that's what it will want. So once in the case that when we actually press play, the animation just starts playing. The animation that we've applied to this hand just starts playing instantly. So you want to make you want to leave it at start and then add an action. So we want to add an action, make it transition, press transition, and then on the transition, when transition has been added, click on it. You have more options to start playing around with. Okay, so before we even do that, I think I'm making like a mistake. It's not like a mistake, but just to make it understandable when you start working with your own. Let me go the proper way. So you want to add separate animations for these two different hands. So to add separate animations, go and select the hands one by one. So you can see here I have my left hand selected. I want to now add an event to it. So press plus to add an event, plus, and then you leave it at start. Press actions, add a transition action, and then press the transition to start adding like effects and stuff like that. So the first thing you want to do, okay, I should even create a state first. Okay, create a state first. So click on the hand, press state. So states are just like different. Okay, in state 1 it's looking right. In state 2 it should look left. That's basically what's the whole thing about state. So state 1, which is the base state. Okay, base state is supposed to be like the normal state, and then what's it called, the other state, which is the what's it called, let's call it final state. Okay, base state, final state. So you want to have like two different versions of this hand, in final state and base state. So what you want to do now is to, on the base state, you want to move the hand outside. So click on, to make any change, make sure you're selecting that particular state. So click on base state here, and then 1 second please, 1 second. Okay, so to make edits, you want to make sure that you are making edits on a particular state, on the state that you want. So on the base state, it should be outside. So you want it outside. So just drag just drag this thing outside as much as you want. Make it leave the screen totally. So I think what I want to do first is to add a camera, because if I am moving stuff like this, once I press play, you can see that the whole thing is just messed up. I mean, personally, I like making my life easy, so I don't want to actually do that kind of thing. I want to add a camera that makes it so that whenever, even I were to zoom out and zoom in, even when I preview, it will just still like preview with that camera, as what the camera is seeing with that default camera view. So let me just zoom in now. Have it zoomed in as like in the like, this is the final state. So you just have it zoomed in properly, and then you press what's it called, this, go to the camera option, press add a new camera. So once you've pressed add a new camera, you can now start going to make edits. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, still works. Okay, so zoom out, zoom in properly, zoom in as much as you want. Okay, now press add a new camera, and then change back to your personal camera. So personal camera, once you make changes here, even though if you go back and press play, you'll still see that it should just like show what is on this what is on the camera that you added before. So you want to make sure that camera, you have a second camera, so you can mess around with your personal camera and make changes anyhow you want, but the preview mode still like shows that your shared camera that you've added. So that's what you want to do. So now I can now just go ahead and start making changes as I so desire. So I can also switch to camera here, go to this camera and switch to camera here, just to go back to that view. So once you've done this, you can, in this camera mode, you can now make edits by, first of all, moving this one off screen. Okay, no, click on the hand, select the hand itself, move it off screen. So just drag it. So take note, I am making this change on base state, not on final state. Move it off screen. So while you're moving it off screen, you can also check what is changing, what is changing in this position. So as I'm moving it, I can notice that it's the X and what's it called, Y and Z axis that are actually changing. So I can go there, and if I didn't want to like be moving it manually, I can just go here and just scrub here, and it just make changes for me. So you can scrub like this, as long as it looks good. So let me just still tamper out the Y as well to make sure that it's coming out from a proper angle. Okay, so yeah, so on my own I have what's it called minus 68 for the Z axis, minus 68.4 for the Z axis, and then minus 1.61 for the Y axis. This one as well. Okay, I don't want to do that one first. So once you've done that, you want to also still select the left hand on the layers panel, since I can't see it. So I can now move to final state. Okay, final state. Now I can now come to final state and make a change, make like the change I want to make to it. So on the final state, I want it to be inside of the screen. What am I doing? Left hand, final state. Okay, cool. So yep. So in the final state, you want to like make the change that you want to see it move to finally. So just try to scrub it as much as you want. You can also still use these handles to move things around. These handles up, left, side, and all of that. So but me, I'm making my changes here because it's more easier for me to tamper with it here. So once you've done that, you can now switch between base state, final state, base state, final state. So here, once you have this set up, you can now go ahead and add your events. But before we even add events, let's still do the same thing for the other hand as well. Or let's do this hand first. Let's finish it first. So go to base state, go to final state. Okay, this is the change, and then you can now add an event. So by default I already have an event set up, but then let's still start from scratch. Press plus on the event section, and then press start. Okay, start, it's fine. Press plus on the what's it called, action, add an action, transition, and then click on the transition to add more options. So by default the target is already set to left hand. Make sure the target is set to the element you want to apply that effect to. So once you have that done, you want to change from transition from current. By default there's already some animation already added to it, but then if you want to make it like tweak it to suit your taste, that's where you're going and start making changes. So let's press play and see what we have. So by default this is a default animation. It just comes outside and it doesn't go back, but me personally I want it to actually go back by itself. So that's why I must go back and actually like start making some extra changes. So once to make it go back, what I need to do is just to go to this loop first of all. Change from loop means that you want it to like repeat, play over and over again. So in the loop section, press loop and then change to infinite, and then in the cycle, where it's written cycle, you change from none to ping pong. Ping pong means you should go back and forth like a ping pong now, like a ping pong ball, back and forth. So once you press play, you can see it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. However, it's not when it comes, I want it to actually stay. So it's not staying, it's just coming and going instantly. That's not what I want at all. I actually want it to stay. So what I must do now is to click on the start on the event and then add like a what's it called, delay. So press delay repeat. There's this delay repeat. Just press add a time. Let's do 5 seconds so we can see how it works. So once it plays, the only issue I have is that the delay actually adds, or it also adds to the, no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Okay, that's not where you're supposed to add a delay. Where you're supposed to add a delay is to go inside of, click here and then go to this section. For some reason like Spline just had like this really terrible UI, but let's see what we can do with it. So go inside of add a delay. Let's do 5 seconds. It's 5 seconds and see if it works, because I feel like the delay now is currently being added. It's being added to the beginning of the stuff. Yeah, so this is what you want. You actually want it to come, stay for 5 seconds and then leave after 5 seconds instead. But I wish there was a way to, okay, I think there's a way. So I want to add a delay to this, to the end instead of the start. So by default it's added to start and end. So I want to add it to just the end. So the end is the end what's it called in this part when it comes on screen, which is the final state. So let's see if it works. Play. Okay, hope it works. It doesn't really do anything. I don't see it doing anything really. I really don't see it doing anything. So let's just let's go back. Let's click on it again. I think it does something. I just think I'm not selecting the proper one. So click on it. Okay. Delay repeat. Yeah, end. Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing. The issue is just that Spline has like this double where you can like add double what's it called, double delay. So what you want to do really, if you want it to like affect just affect the, if you want the delay just to affect the final state, what you must do is just to click on this animation tab where it's written easing out. Click on it, and then you see another duration, another delay there. So you see, press delay there, add a delay there. So once you press add a delay, once you add any delay there, it's going to be added to the final state. It's going to be added to the final state of the interaction, of the animation rather. So once you press play, it comes outside as usual. It never works as I want it to work. Never add a delay. So add 0 here and press play. Same thing. But just try to tweak it. Just try to make like small, because I don't like want to drill down too much on this, because it's starting to like affect it's starting to like not work the way I want it to work, which should not be the case. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. Okay. So click on it, click here, and then add a delay, and then set the what's it called, the position of the delay to, by default it's on none. So once it's on none, it affects both the beginning of the animation and both the ending. But then you want it to affect just the end of the animation, so go and select the end. If you want it to affect the beginning, that's fine. You can also select what's it called, start, and affect the start of the animation. So once you press play now, you can see it doesn't affect the beginning, but then the end is freezed for 5 seconds, and then it goes what's it called, does after 5 seconds it goes back to ping pong mode. It doesn't even go back to ping pong mode. Okay, it does go back to ping pong mode. So it goes back by itself. So that's basically it. So let's reduce the timeline from 5 to like let's say 3. I think 3 is fine. I'm not really dwelling too much on the time now, because I'm still yet to do the other one, and as I go I can actually like change stuff. So 3 seconds and then it leaves. So that's that. You want to also do the same for this other hand as well. So the other hand, you want to move it out of the screen. Okay, you want to add a state first, and then on the base state, move it off screen. So to move it off screen, you can either try to drag the controls, but the controls are currently outside of screen, so can't really sweat with that. So what I want to do is just to tamper with the position here, and I want to manually scrub the position here. So I want to scrub backwards, just make it move off screen. Just scrub until you have it moving the direction you want it to move the direction you want it to move. So just do that, and yeah, I have this done. I want to now move to the final state. Let me call this one final state as well. Final state. Okay, cool. So in the position, I want to bring the position back. Ideally, when I'm actually, before, what I used to do personally before is that I used to actually take notes of these positions. Like I used to like cram them or write it somewhere. This position X, position Y, position Z. Take note of them, and then in the base state I just enter the positions there, because I don't want to have to like do guesswork. But let's just do guesswork with this particular one. So go to base state. Base state is outside. Go to final state, and then in the final state, move the thing back to where it was before. Just scrub until it looks good. Like I said, in 3D you don't have to like have extremely accurate values. You can just use anything as long as it looks good. That's what really matters at the end of the day. So for this one, I think I want to still move it down a bit. So just scrub on the position axis until you see something that looks good to you. So like this, I think it's fine. I have my position X on 99.3, my position Y 4.81, my position Z 259.38. So that's what I have here. Your values could be different. It doesn't have to be the same, and that's totally fine as long as it looks good. So once you have that done, you can see base state, final state, base state, final state. So now just add your event. Add an event here. Press action. Add an action, transition. Click on it, and then you have you have by default the duration is 1 millisecond, 1 second. I think 1 second, and then you have easing out. So what you want to do is to add it. We can play it. Let's play it first and see. So you can see both of them come at the same time. They come at the same time. However, I think the way it's currently set up, only this one will go back. So just give you a couple of seconds, go back. So you see all that one goes back, because this one has like a ping pong effect applied to it, a ping pong effect and a delay apply to it, but this one does not. It just only has like that default effect, so it doesn't do anything more than that. It just comes into view and then it just stays. So once you have that done, you also want to click on click on this loop, press loop, click on infinite, select infinite, click on cycle, make it ping pong. So like this now, it's going to come and go, come and go, come and go. However, it wants it to actually delay a bit, just like this one delays. So once it delay a bit, so want to add a delay to it. So to add a delay, click on this, click on this on the animation type, which is easing out by default. So click on it and then go to the delay section, add a delay of, let's do 2. I think this one delays too much. This one delays too much. So let's do 2 and then set the delay position to, which is this delay repeat. Set it to end so that it delays the end of the animation, doesn't delay the beginning. So set it to end. So the end of the animation that's the final state. So click on play and then you have this this animation here. So like this now, you actually have something set up. You can start finessing and fine-tuning all the animations to like really look good and everything, to really play well and everything. So this one, what I want to do as well is I want to reduce the delay from 3 to 2 as well. Another thing I also do just to like give it even more, because by default what they just come outside, there's nothing more to do. So what I also do is this is the last tip before we wrap up today's design session. The last thing I also do is also rotate in the base state. I also rotate the I also try to rotate the I can't explain it because I don't want to like mess up this camera. So, okay, let's go to personal camera. So in the base state, what I also do is I also rotate. Let me zoom in so you can get what I'm saying. So take me, I switch to personal camera. Personal camera can mess it up anyhow, but it will not affect the main camera. That's the shared camera, personal the other camera I added to it. So go to personal camera if you want to like make messy changes to your objects, and then switch back to normal camera in case you want to do anything. So in personal camera, you can now see that okay, for this one, for the left hand, in the base state, I want to rotate the hand in such a way that it's like just rotate any kind of way. You can rotate to the left, to the right, it doesn't really matter, any kind of way. So by default, it is like this by default. So I want to make the animation more interesting, so I just rotate it any kind of way, 25 degree on the what axis? On the z axis, on the z axis. Rotate on z axis like this, and then the right hand as well. I want to zoom out. I want to also rotate it the other way, just to like have this fun interaction. So rotate the other way. So let's play and then see what we have. So let's switch back to camera. Okay, they are both off screen. Okay, this is final state. Okay. Cool. So base state. Okay. So you can see it has like a more dynamic interaction. However, I think there's a small problem. Okay, let's see. Click on it. Final state, base state, final state. Oh, okay. I think I get why. On final state, it doesn't, like when you don't do a change on base state, it like affects final state as well. So you have to go and affect the change on final state as well. So yeah, let's just play it and see now. So once I've done that, play. So you can see it has a more dynamic interaction. And it's not just as boring as the other as the first one. It now actually rotates, the hands rotate into the screen and then they touch each other, and then that's all you have. Although if I had more time, I'll probably go inside and start finessing this the angles, the view, and all the other fancy things. But I think for starters, this is actually okay. From here, you can just go back and start fine-tuning all the interactions, the way it moves into screen, and also the background color. And also another thing I also add, let's change it back to black again. 0 0 0 0 0 0. Okay. 50, 100. Okay. Why are you doing this to me? 100. Cool. Yeah. So like this now. The last thing I also do to just like give you this like kind of sort of vivid effect is to, I mentioned the last a couple of meetings ago, just click on the empty screen. It's called post processing. So click on post processing to add aberration. So once you add aberration, it has this this kind of glitch effect to it, and it just like looks really fancy or something like that. So that's basically all for now. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. And again, if if in trying to replicate this, you have any challenge, I'm going to put this video out on YouTube. If you have any challenges in trying to replicate this, feel free to reach out, and I will always try to help out as best as I can. Like I said, if I had more time, probably fine-tune this like even better to like look perfect and everything. But for now, I think this is like a good starter. It's a good starter. So that's basically all. If you have any questions, you can go. If not, we're done with today's design session. Okay. In the presence of none, I would assume that there are no questions and everyone is okay. So, um, thank you all for showing up for today's meeting again. And Stein was not the best, and we were not able to like really fine tune this thing as much as we needed to. But yeah, I'm glad you showed up, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care and have a good weekend. Bye.